Hey, how's it going, everybody? And welcome to another episode here. Here at the Content Creators University. I am your servant, your host, JP. For those of you who do not know me, I am cinematographer, software developer, and branding expert. Every single week, what we do here, we have this rendezvous, we have this appointment, we have this time for us to grow every single week. And how do we do that? We connect with one of the best minds, all right, in the IT media content creation ecosystem. What they do is they come here every single week and teach you and I things that we need to know in order to level up, in order to up our game, in order to understand what's the whole universe surrounding success and establishing a brand and building your own team and also taking your content creation journey to a whole new level, monetizing that, right? Making true money off of it, building a company surrounding that. There's so much that we learn here from all the pros that are coming. We call them, professors, right? So today we have another professor backstage. And boy, you are in for another amazing show, right? I am very excited today to talk about the topic at hand. Now, one thing I want to ask you, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and smack the subscribe button here on YouTube. If you're listening to the podcast, I want to go ahead and encourage you to hop on YouTube. Look for our channel. It's called youtube.com JP Hightek Reviews. Go ahead, subscribe so you're notified every single time we release a new video. We go live here on the channel, all right? So, folks, you saw earlier our sponsors. We had, ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN is the solution. I personally use them. And what they do is help you, right, protect your investment on the web. What do I mean by that? Well, you need to have that level of encryption so that you do not expose yourself to anything, right? Anything, any attacks or any hacks or anything possible. You want to protect yourself because now the world has changed where a lot of people are working from home. I am working from home. We're doing a whole lot more with the internet connection that we have. Well, we also have a lot of private information we want to make sure we protect. So go ahead and, hop on the web. Go get yourself a free 3-month trial. Just go to expressvpn.com/JP Hightek. Get yourself a 3-month and enjoy that. All right. You will appreciate that. Now, we also have Charles Jackson Media, professional media. If you're looking to how to build a professional studio, I'm going to tell you something. Charles Jackson Media knows how to build a professional studio. Go ahead and connect with him. Just go to his website, charlesjackson.media. Or if you just, want to level up your live streaming or you just want to have some media things done, he's going to help you out. He's a phenomenal person that I'm happy to have as a sponsor on this platform. We've worked on multiple different projects, and I can tell you he takes every single project seriously. So shout out to Charles Jackson Media for that. And folks, we have more sponsors here, right? So before we talk about who's next on the show and bring our guests for today over, we have another sponsor. Let me run the ad and we'll be right back. Stay with me. Don't go anywhere. All right, folks, this is who we're going to get next right here on the show. His name is Steve Worthy. Before I talk about him and the awesome things we'll be discussing next week here on the Content Creators University, I want to remind you, folks, you saw the ad that just passed. That is RTN Streams. Now, if you're serious about your live streaming solution, if you want to have your own Roku TV application like I have, right? I have my own Roku TV application. Well, I want to encourage you to go ahead and go to rtnstreams.com, folks. I repeat, rtnstreams.com. And go ahead and get that solution. Build your Roku TV application. As a matter of fact, it's going to allow you to do what I'm doing right now. This show right now is broadcasted on YouTube, on Facebook, on my website, on my Roku TV application, and my Fire TV application, folks. Very amazing stuff. So go ahead. Again, the website is rtnstreams.com. Check it out, folks. You will love it if you want to take your content creation to a whole new level, expand your reach, and have all the 50+ million new users that are on Roku or Fire TV every single month. You want to do that, right? So now let's go ahead and talk about Steve Worthy. Now, Steve Worthy, he's a professional in the leadership field. And what are we going to talk about next week here? Well, this is it right here. It's going to be about the imposter syndrome, right? And the title of this show, very excited about it, is Am I Worthy? Are you worthy, folks? Do you think you're worthy? If you're struggling with anything like this is the time to show up and really be part of this conversation, because it's going to be phenomenal, right? We'll be handling and attacking certain points about this, certain aspects that you may or may not even have thought about, right? If you've ever felt unqualified for anything, even though you have what it takes, then this is it. Join me with Steve Worthy on July 28th for this conversation. Looking forward to that. Now, we have somebody phenomenal behind stage here, right? Let me go ahead and bring it back here so I can tell you who that is. And this is Keith Pelzer. Now, Keith Pelzer, he's a professional, right? He's a Grammy-winning, multi-nominated, multi-platinum selling songwriter and producer who has worked with some of the major names out there in the industry, right? He has produced hits such as Jill Scott, He Loves Me, It's Love, and Cross My Mind. He also produced La Fiesta of Will Smith. I mean, he's done amazing stuff. And one of the awesome things I like about, Keith is that he's also a man of faith, right? He is a husband. He is relatable, just like you and I. So we have a surprise for him. Instead of me using my words and tell you the amazing things he has done, here at the Content Creators University, we decided to put that into a little video to welcome him onto the show. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Right after that, he will be right here on the platform so we can handle this conversation. What do you do after you get in front of the spotlight? Stay with me. Welcome to the show, Keith. Welcome to the show. I am very, very, very excited to have you on board here. And, like we said right there, right? We said you are an inspiration to a generation, right?
Wow.
It is important that we give props while people are alive, while they're with us, while they can really appreciate and see that we care and about all the awesome things that people like you are doing, right? And we have an entire generation looking up to folks like you and want to accomplish the same thing. And, here the team at the Content Creators University decided to give you your award the way we can do it digitally today and give you those praises because it is deserved. So again, welcome to the show, Keith. I appreciate you being with us.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. So one question I'm going to ask you, how do you feel, man? How do you feel being on our platform today?
Oh, actually, I'm excited. Actually, nervous because it's like when you're doing it yourself, it's real easy. But when you're on somebody else, it's like high tech, like high up. You start to get a little nervous, like, oh, wait a minute, I gotta make sure my stuff is right. And so yeah,
I
man,
know,
so
right?
you got me nervous, man. I'm not as like flowing as Keely was when she was on, but I'll get it. I'll get it there. You understand what I'm saying? I'll get it there.
Hey folks, this is Keith for you guys. This guy, he's amazing despite all the great things he's doing. He's still humble, which is one of the reasons why we brought him on this platform. Before I ask you anything, Keith, can you take a minute for the folks that do not even know you, even though we just introduced you, right, with
Mhm.
Will Smith and all that on the pictures and different things with the president? Go ahead and tell us more about who you are for the folks that want to discover you and learn more about who you are.
Oh my goodness. I'm just Keith Pelzer from Philadelphia, born and raised. I live outside of Philly now. Um, Preacher's kid, third generation pastor. Um, wow, I'll be 50 years old this year. Got into music because I was playing in church all my life. And then I was a bad boy, bad preacher's kid, and so I got into hip hop and R&B because my parents let me. They weren't too strict. As long as I was at church on Sundays, and I was just a normal, regular, everyday guy. And fast forward, got out of school and everything, music career picked up. And then one day I met my wife. So she was at the airport. I was at the airport. She was going where she was going. I was going where I was going, except, I had to double back on that look. And I was just like, hey. And so, she's the one that broke the I'm doing me mode. And I was just like, yep. And there she is. Boom. And so that's the woman I ran into, God allowed me to meet. And from there, it was history. And so next year, it'll be 20 years of marriage. And so
Wow.
that's basically who I am now. And now I'm just in this space as the little young boy trying to figure out content creation with all you pros. That's all.
Fantastic. I love your introduction. And absolutely, you are a family man. You have a beautiful family, and your spouse, she's just gorgeous. She's
Thank you.
photogenic, to be honest with you. And that's coming from a cinematographer. We ain't, like they
Right,
say,
listen,
right?
man. Look. You saw my latest picture where she had my camera and she was like, "This thing heavy," and I had to take a picture of her trying to take a picture of me. And actually, I'm just like, I made me this big, and she's this big on there, and it's kind of like everybody likes the picture. It's funny because I put a picture up and have her in it. I get like 100 and some likes. Just with me on there, I get like 2 likes.
I know, right? I know. I know.
No, it's not that bad, but it's bad enough. I'm just like, all right, cool.
Yes, sir. Well, hey, before we dive into this today, we have some folks in the comment section. Let's go ahead and give them a shout out. I got James Hicks right here. Hey, James, how's it going? We appreciate you being with us
Yes.
live on the show. And we also have Cree. Hey, Cree, how's it going? Thanks for being in the comment
Yep,
section.
Cree.
Thanks for the support. Hey, Major Tone. Major Tone is in the place. Hello to you as well. Thanks for being
What's
here.
going
Thanks for the
on?
support and being active in the comment section. Also, Charles Jackson Media. We just announced him, one of our sponsors here on the show. He is here. All that is phenomenal, folks. And look at God, we have Kelly Dunn, FH Umpires, is here as well in the comment section. This is fantastic. I'm looking at Gary Alwine. Hey, Gary, welcome. Thank you to be here. I appreciate your presence. I'm looking at officially unofficial. Officially unofficial as well is here and commenting. Hey, Doc, what's going on, Doc? Appreciate you
Rock,
being here as
rock.
well. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Doc Rock is in the place in the comments. Okay, Keith. All right, so we want to learn more about your background, but there are a couple of things that I actually wanted us to take a look at today, right? Because I was like, you know what? I want you to share your story so that can inspire a lot of other content creators that are aspiring to do what you have accomplished, right? Even though I know in life we're always trying to grow, right? Because that's the way of life. You always have to look for ways to improve yourself, right? But
Mhm.
even though you are the type of person that is always trying to improve yourself, you've done some amazing things already, right? And I wanted us to take a little dive back into the past so that you share with us how did you accomplish those things and what you learned from it, right? Once you got in the spotlight, right? Once you got the Grammy nomination, once you got the platinum selling, I mean, what did you learn? We want to learn from you. So I have a couple of things here that I planned, and look, it doesn't even want to show.
Hey,
That's
that's
what
the fun
happens
part
whenever
about
you're
live.
trying to. Yeah, I mean that's what happens, right? Whenever you're trying to do something fancy, and then it's gonna decide not to show on the show. But hey, we're gonna
It
ride
looks
with it.
good though. It looks good though. There we go. Got it.
All right. So, the family man, right? First of all, tell us a little bit about your family, right? Because you're pastoring your family man. How does it
Mhm.
feel in the industry that you were, right? Producing and all that. Because we're told, man, it's hard to be a good family man whenever you're a producer, you're in this Hollywood world. How did you cope with it? And you
Oh,
just having success in family.
oh, you trying to be deep already? Listen, I'm gonna cut right across the field, as us black preachers say. We say I'm gonna cut across the field. That means I'm gonna keep it short, without 3 point sermon. If you remember The Best Man, right? I met Terrence
Hmm.
Howard, real great guy. And I found out he does play the guitar upside down, like real talk.
Oh,
He did it
wow.
for.
Nice.
No, he really does it. And it was like he was like a trying to be artist when we met him, hanging out at Fridays in Philly, and he's like, "Yo, let me come to the studio." We like, "All right, wait." He wasn't that Terrence Howard. He wasn't the Empire guy at that point. But this is right
Hmm.
around the time before The Best Man. And so when he's sitting across the table from Morris Chestnut, and he's just talking, and there, he's talking about, "Hey man, I'm gonna get laid tonight. I'm gonna do my thing." And it's like Terrence Howard, in essence, he brings up the idea. Well, she probably gonna do the same thing. Morris Chestnut got ticked off, and he's like, "Wait a minute, no, 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 she ain't gonna do nothing." He's like, "Well, you doing what you doing? She can do what she do." And I looked at it like being a spiritual guy and growing up in church and stuff, and the fear of God. I didn't want to be bullied by, God gonna get you. But at the same time, I realized, yes, everybody can be sneaky if they want. So there's like this middle ground of just be you. It's like, are you a player? And it's like, no. I mean, I can try to do that under peer pressure. It's like, oh, you're a producer, so you gotta be high on that chicks, or you in the studio all
Hmm.
the time, so you gotta be high all the time. You gotta drink, you gotta buy this, you gotta floss, you gotta
Hmm.
drive a Range Rover because you got 6 figures in the bank. I never got a Range Rover. You understand what I'm saying? I stayed with Lexus the
Right.
whole time. I'm just keeping it transparent because I'm
Hmm.
not that far into things. Now, there's some things like these cameras and stuff, I'm gonna buy that. But everything else about me is not trying to be, something that I'm not. So it really came down to, who are you? That way you don't have to really shift into something, and you don't have to war against not shifting into something that you know that you're not. And so when Spotlight and stuff hit, it was kind of like, and I got to say this for the five guys that I grew up with in the music industry. When we found out that we were Grammy nominated, matter of fact, we flew to LA, and it
Hmm.
was that whole campaign of who is Jill Scott. And so that was something that, as we're trying to get the deal and things that happen, it's like, who is Jill Scott? Who is Jill Scott? And then it finally came up. We were on in West Hollywood, and we looked up at a billboard, and we standing outside the hotel, and it said, "Who is Jill Scott?" And it said 2.5 million people already know. It was the most humbling effect and idea. Fast forward, we're at a party with his name's Steve McKeever. You got Michael Jordan there and everybody, because he's down with Hidden Beach Records. And we are acting a fool. When I say we acting like just six Negroes from Philly, and everybody else is bougie because we out in LA, we're Beverly Hills and all. We just like acting like Philly hood dudes, like silly, busting on each other, laughing and joking. And everybody's like, people were like, "Yo, man, you had a big party." We like, so? Because we just us.
Hmm.
And so it's
Hmm.
something about just being who you are at all times. Like, when to adjust, but you have to maintain, who do I like to be? Oh, you about to mess something up there. When I say we were ourselves, with shout outs to Maurice White, God rest his soul, but I mean, Redeemed Flowetry, we cut up and act a fool, man. That's the true thing. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at this picture and I'm like, you know what? Keith used to have hair, as a matter of
Oh,
fact,
dude,
right?
dude. Look, my hair was down to my waist, bro. It was down to my
Wow.
waist. I had Alicio locks.
Wow. That's
I
amazing.
had
And tell us,
Alicio
who are
weight
these
locks.
folks in the picture?
So that's Flowetry. You know Flowetry, right? Marcia
Okay.
Ambrosius
Yeah, yeah.
and Natalie Stewart. And then there's Verdine and
Wow.
Maurice White. Earth, Wind, and Fire, bro. Yes, sir.
Oh, that's nice. I also have another picture here that I wanted you to tell us a little more about, because I'm like, you know what, this is dope. So tell us about, how does this come about? And who's actually in the picture, right? For the folks that do not know.
Is the sound okay? Look, it's me and you here. Is
Yeah,
the
looks
sound
like
okay? Or is it
the
jacking out?
sound looks like something happened to the sound again. So I'm gonna have you go ahead and eject and come back in. I think that'll be easier.
Exactly. This gonna go and jump back in because he's high tech. All right.
All right. Go ahead. All right. So he's going to go ahead and eject out of here and be back on the stage because his sound he's not acting properly. While he's doing that, right, let me look into the comment section and see what we have here. Okay. So what's going on here? Let me see. Hey, Alec. Thanks for being here, Alec. I appreciate your presence. Very nice to be here. That you're, participating in the comment section below. Let me see right here. What's going on? What's going on, family? If you have any question for Keith, go ahead and put it in the comment section below right there, and then we'll be able to, just put it on screen, ask him, and let me see right here. Looks like Keith is not able to come back, but hey, so what do you guys think about this picture, folks? Honestly, I was looking at the picture and I'm like, okay, let me bring him back. All right, looks like he's here. Welcome back, Keith. All right.
Somebody don't like somebody, So look, shout out to you, Hightek, man. I like this Firefox already. I'll double check and see if it's the Apollo or somebody. It just kind of goes whack. Okay, and listen, everybody, disclaimer: it's not Hightek. So it's something somebody talking to somebody ain't doing it. So y'all bear with us and stay here. Shout out in the comments to say I got time for it. Y'all here. Okay. Now, what was your question, sir?
I was asking you, tell us the story behind this picture right here and who's on the picture with you for the folks that do not recognize them.
Bro, listen, that's Charlie Mack is the man. The darkest dude on there with his mouth hanging wide open. That's Charlie Mack. He is the dude of Philly, man. I love Charlie Mack. He is the connector. Because of Charlie Mack, I got pictures with a bunch of Hollywood people, including Shaq, all because of Charlie Mack. And then that's wait, is that not Dwayne? Yeah, Wayne's brother, the oldest one. I keep forgetting you. And the other guy, I think that's he looks like that's Will Smith.
That's Will Smith, yes, sir.
That's around the time we were all lifting weights, doing push-ups and everything. And I think Will was doing Ali around that time. And so yeah, he was just coming down the studio punching on everybody like bean bags or body bags, whatever, man. It's just acting silly, man. Cool dude, man. Real cool dude.
Nice. Now, one thing I know is that you were behind this production here, right? The beat, the instrumental. How did you end up doing that?
Wow. So what happened was I worked on Big Willie Styles, the first solo project of Will Smith. And then when it came time for the Millennium album, we had a clear shot at it. And so I did a song, a Michael Jackson flip with Eve, a rapper from Philly, and called Can You Feel Me? And then they wanted a Latino record because my old partner, Darren Henson, he actually did the Latino song for Little Kim. No matter what people see, you got it go.
Yes.
And so they wanted a song like that for Will. So I jumped on it. And I did this dope beat, but what happened was Will wanted to use it. Somebody wanted to use it for something else. And then Carvin Hagen's, another one of the brothers, Carvin got a Tito Puente Latino record, and we found a sample off of there. And then I just, put that together and we got that on Will. And then we ended up working with Kenny Dope and Louis Vega, who are like the house kings from New York. And they're Miami specialists. So, Kenny Dope, Louis Vega, I mean, Doc Rock would know who they are. They are the bomb, man. So it was a pleasure working with them. And they brought in, Latino's greatest. They brought in all the guys that play the real live stuff. So everybody on there, all the percussion track, except for like 4 pieces, are all live instrumentation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. So now, as you know, today's topic is about how do you handle it whenever you get in front of the spotlight? As content creators, a lot of us, we're trying to get in front of that spotlight, right? We're trying to get that recognition per se, right? Get to a certain level, but it also comes with a certain amount of responsibility, once you get there, right? How to handle it so that the spotlight does not blind you out, doesn't take you out, right? So you don't lose
Right.
yourself in the spotlight. So how did you handle it? First of all, how did you feel once you got nominated for a Grammy Award?
Wow. So the nominations, we've been having nominations since. I'm never going to forget this name because it just throws me off. Shelby Lynn. She was like an artist who was out for a while. For some reason, she got the award for brand new artist. I don't know how that happened. When we were up with Jill Scott, it's like, oh, we got this Grammy. And it was like, oh, we lost to Shelby Lynn. And we're like, what the heck? Like, this chick is like older or something. Like, she's been
Mm-hmm.
out for like
Mm-hmm.
40 years. Like, and so we've been going to nominations for years and years and years. After the six of us all went our separate ways, Carvin Hagens, Vidal Davis, Andre Harris, Stone Henson, Ivan
Mm-hmm.
Barrios, and myself. After all of us, is that a light? No, I'm just joking. So, but after we all, y'all heard that hashtag in the column. We heard that hashtag.
We
Say I
heard
heard
that.
that. But
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
so when what happened was we all kind of went our separate ways. So we
Mm-hmm.
went into and it was time to work on Jill's next album. And so Darren and I, we were working together and we did a song called Cross My Mind. And the crazy thing about it is that wasn't a single. So every song that I literally had on the radio was actually not a single except for Floetic. Everything else was just the fans liked it. They pushed it, the record company had to play it. And so Darren and I, we worked on this simple song, Cross My Mind, and that was on the album and everybody started liking it, and then she had to sing it at concerts and stuff, and then she did a video for it. Next thing we know, it was Grammy nominated, and then I'm sitting in church, like every normal Sunday. I'm not going to the Grammys because I wasn't really thinking about it, and then we got a
Mm-hmm.
text and was like, yo, we got a Grammy, and I'm just like, are you kidding me, and so and I was happy when
Wow.
I got that mail. It was like, hey, you are a Grammy Award winning producer. I said, yes. Yeah.
Amazing, man, amazing. And not only that, it went further, right? It went further. You sold platinum, right? What does that
Yeah.
even mean for the folks that do not understand? You sold platinum.
I'll be straightforward. It's crazy. Back then,
Mm-hmm.
it it meant a lot. Now it's weird because back then, those people who were around my age or of the nature when Tower Records and Virgin Records used to exist, people would stand in line and buy an actual CD, a record.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you were buying those, all of those got counted. Now everybody's just streaming. So when you went platinum back then, that meant something. So I was on a record that went 25 million. 25 million platinum. That's Big Willie Styles. And I got the plaque at my mom's house. I got most of my Will Smith plaques. I got a couple over here on the wall. These are like the 2 million, five, another one, two, or something like that. Gold. But back then, no, that was a lot, man. And so now I don't even know how to read it now. I mean, everything's just playing. Alexa just plays stuff. iTunes plays stuff. So I don't know how you really rate platinum now.
Right. I mean, it's different now. The
Yeah,
way to
it's
rate
way
it now.
different now.
You've gotten platinum multiple times, not just once. So
Yeah.
what comes with that now? There is, is there a certain expectation from people, you yourself, right? Is there like a pressure of keeping that up, or how to keep doing that? How do you handle that level of success?
You know what? It's a blessing. I think everybody who got either a Grammy, is on a platinum record, whatever, they earned it. You have guys that put a whole album together and none of their songs were the single, but you throw a Rodney Jerkins on the album and it goes platinum. Now, in a sense, the momentum could have been because you put Jam and Lewis on the album, you put Babyface on there, but respect to the
Mm-hmm.
people that found the artist, that put A
Mm-hmm.
Marie together, that put, somebody from a local town together. They got the record deal. They got 7 songs on the record, but then you bring in that one. Well, no, you put Timberland on the record, and it's like, oh, okay, that's going to push it to platinum. Where Puff Daddy just say, take that, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
platinum record. it takes nothing away from that person because they did all that groundwork to put it up, you know. So whether you have the Grammy, whether you have the nomination or not, I mean, if you know you put in the work and your name is on there, that's why our names mean something. And your name is on there. I don't care if it was you're the engineer. I don't care if you just mic the stuff up. You're significant. And so the hard thing to teach people is know your significance because
Hmm.
you may not get recognized. And what we got a Grammy for, the funny thing is the version that we were going to put out, Jill Scott didn't want that one. Um, we did, her husband did, but she didn't want that one. It was like,
Wow.
nah. And so it was a lot going on there. Everybody respects everybody's decisions, but there's a lot of things, man, where you get on that platinum record and you really didn't like working on that record. And the one that you really had the biggest experience with is the one that doesn't even really see the light of day. So
Hmm.
I've got at least about so you too young to know what this is, but I have ADATs in the garage in DA88s and reel to reel, like the big tape machine where you have to put it on the thing and go rum, 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 rum.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I got songs on those that never saw the light of day, that were the most meaningful, sentimental songs and material that has blessed people. And I still talk about the lyrics to this day. And it never got signed and never got put out and probably never
Wow.
will. Yeah.
You've dropped some amazing bombs. I hope folks are listening, and I'm looking in the comment section. Yes, they are. Have Sylvia Dixon say that exactly. No, your name means something,
Yes. Yes,
right?
it
Your
does.
name means something. Also, you said know your significance. That is
Hmm.
amazing, right? Now we have a question from Keely Dunn for you. Said, when was your hardest moment when you were moving on from that success?
Ooh, um, the hurt. I don't talk about this much, but it's funny. I just put up a post and I said sooner or later, in essence, I said this. After a while, our post wars should become post the war, and because people are so hurt now that they're posting their hurt, and it's like a recycling of I'm still hurt. I
Mm-hmm.
went through 11 years of a lawsuit because a person took our money, like took our royalties. And it's amazing when people think that you have and you broke. Like, real talk. I mean, I don't have to tell everything, but I'll tell enough
Mm-hmm.
to just be like, man, some of the times when people thought I was really doing it, I was broke, bro. I mean, hurting. And, I'm just not the type of person that's just going to sulk in it. I'm going to try to figure it out, find a way, but I'm not going to fake it either. So,
Right.
if I know I can't eat bougie, man, Chick-fil-A is a gourmet meal. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm going to make it look
Sure
good. I'm going to
is.
be happy. If we go
Mm-hmm.
out to Great Adventure and everybody like, oh, let's eat this and eat that, I'm going to be like, you know what? I'm good. I'm just getting that workout on. And what it means is I had enough to get in the park and drive through the tolls, but I ain't got no more money to do anything else with. Listen, bro, we I know how to do that. I've been there before, but I spent 11 years. I mean, fighting, and then people were talking about you. Not everybody. It's not one of those things, but some people that just didn't understand, and then people that you work with, they alienate themselves from you, and nobody really wants to face the reality until you start seeing the Netflix stories of people saying, "Oh, this record company jerked me," and this person that
Mm-hmm.
I was signed
Mm-hmm.
to, and this artist starts to come out and be like, "Oh, they stole my credits," and this, that, and the third. And everybody's like, "Whoa!" They like, "Oh, they probably just hating." Nah, they telling the truth because it does happen, So, I really so kind of like to answer Killy's thing. You almost have to, knowing who you are, you have to find another lane because there's always something open for who you are. That's what I believe. So I love people. So I didn't want to go back to the music industry. People were like, "Oh, when you gonna work on another record? This, that, and the third." I have a great relationship with Jill Scott. We talk often, but we don't talk about music. That's the crazy thing. We don't really
Hmm.
talk about music. We talk like brother and sister. And I tried it at the beginning, like, "Yo, I got some tracks for you." And I start to realize her and I started doing this when I'm trying to be the producer. When I'm being a brother, it starts to do like this. And so I started to learn again significance. What's the significant part of my relationship with her? Not the success. because the success is every time she do a show, she has to literally end with the song that I wrote with her. He loves me. She has to sing Crossing My Mind. Shout out to Darren Henson and myself. She has to do the go-go track. It's love. Everybody want to do that. But when she's done that show, she just want to talk to her brother, not the producer. So I started to learn the significance of relationship. And the area that hurt you the most for me, it was music. So Keith Pelzer, I built this room at first before I met you guys, before I met Ecamm and everything. I built this room to do beats and tracks, and I never got the beats and tracks done because mentally I was traumatically scarred from fighting for 11 years and trying to live up to what people looked at me as. But here's the good news. That Grammy did something. You know what I'm saying? Because when you put that with your name, it kind of bypass. You almost feel guilty because it bypasses the really who you are. Because people go, oh, you won a Grammy. Oh, you multi-platinum record. And you kind of like, yeah, but and then you run across them people that listen to the Brother song on Jill Scott's first album and say, yo, I love how you flipped that beat on her album. And that's the song nobody knows I did. Nobody knows it.
Wow.
I work with Tatiana Ali.
Wow.
And I ain't gonna say that, but nobody believes she can sing at all. They still don't believe it. But I worked with Tatiana Ali, and we did a wonderful record. Nobody really knows about that record.
Amazing. And that is so important what you're saying, right? The significance, right? What's the significant part of your relationship as content creators? What is the significant part of our relationship with the content we're creating? Because the days will come where things do not go our way. The days will come where things are just flying off the shelves against us. We feel the whole world is falling on our shoulders. But the one thing we will hold on to is what's going to separate us from everybody else. So it's not about how successful you've been in the eyes of people, is how we've dealt with adversity whenever it came towards us, and might take us off the platform. That is what's going to set us, above, any hardship that comes. Because as we are looking, and this is my takeaway from what you're saying, right? As we are, all working hard to get to the top line, or working hard to get in front of the spotlight, we need to remember who we are, why we're doing what we're doing, and stay focused on the significant aspect of our relationship with what we're doing and with the people we're doing it with. So that whenever something positive or negative happens, it is not necessarily a surprise. It's just a relief and a praise, understanding that the hard work paid off. But even if it didn't come, it does not change the aspect of my relationship with this person and with what I'm doing. There's a question that we have in the comment section for you from Dwayne Streeter. He said, when did you start doing music exactly? And how long did it take you to get the first hit?
Wow. So it took a while. That's a loaded one. What's his name? David? Was it David? What's his name?
His name is Streeter.
Okay,
Dwayne Streeter.
Yeah, so Dwayne, it took a while. And here's my tip that I just learned. If you're trying to figure out, or if you're working towards that first hit or that arrival, you're never going to get there. Okay, hear me clearly. I keep forgetting that my first record was not with Will Smith. It wasn't even with Tatiana Ali. Back in Philly, we had a club called the Ritz, and there was a guy I was going to school with when I was in Temple, and he was a reggae artist. Donovan, his name is. And he had a song called Jump Around and Shout. And it was like, jump around and shout. No, if everybody scream out. And he did it, the whole Jamaican rap. He's like, ooh. And I was just like, I can do that. That's fun. So I figured out how to do a reggae beat because I used to listen to, boom, hit a gunshot, boom. I used to listen to that. So I produced the beat. Next thing you know, dude is like, yeah, so, you got to get a publishing company and this, that, and the third because I'm getting signed to Elektra Records. And so I ended up having to get a lawyer and the whole nine real quick, just because I'm like, yo, this is going to be a single. Then another friend of mine, Kevin Akins, he was a gospel artist. He's like, yo, I'm gonna come over your house to work with you. Next thing you know, he's like, yeah, I'm signed. I'm getting this song put out. So those were my first two records. Nobody really knows about them, and a lot of times I keep forgetting. And so what happened was I was just working so much that by the time that record comes out, you know it after the fact. But if you're working towards it to say, I got a record come out, and what I learned, listen, Dwayne, what I learned is there's so many people that look up to me or they ask me for advice because I have the credentials, and they're like listening to, hey, what do you think? And I answer them and they get stuck. I call it the glitch. They glitch because I'm just kind of like, yo, you got to do it because you love it. And then you have to be confident that it's going to land where it needs to land. And if it doesn't, like Hightek just said, did you do it because of the significance or did you just do it for the success? Because if you just did it for the success, you already jacked up. If you're doing it for the significance of it, whether that significance is this is just what I like to do and I want to get paid for doing what I like to do. What do I like to do? Let's give Puffy some credit. I like to make people dance. Most of the most successful producers that I like, some of them, their simple answer is I like to make people dance. Well, that's a clear answer. So accomplishment, people are dancing. I have arrived. But if you're doing it so I can get a Bentley, I can get a car, I can have my name up on the joint, I can be on the Billboard Awards, man, good luck. I'm not saying that's you, Dwayne. I'm just saying for everybody out there, good luck. Same thing, because we got content creators watching. Same thing with this. If it's, I'm going to get these overlays, get this, that, and the third, so I can get 10,000 people in here, man, miss me with that. That's good. Go for it. If that's what you want. Significance is what's going to give you that longevity. Shout out to Doc Rock. I could have sworn he was over 10,000, and they're like, oh, shout out to Doc Rock, 10,000. I'm like, dude, should have like 50,000. But what I learned about him and getting to know him is he really cares about this. Like, that was me with music. He cares about this. Now, don't get me twisted. You're going to give me the money, I'll take the money. You know what I'm saying? You're going to put me in the spotlight, I'll take it. But I don't wake up in the morning to be in the spotlight. It just kind of happened. That's why I'm fine now. And other people, they're depressed, they're miserable, and they feel like they fell off. Do it for the love and passion. Absolutely, Dwayne. Do it for the love and the passion.
Do it for the love and passion. Yep.
Let me say this one other thing, Hightek. It's kind of like biblically how we get these words mixed up. The love of money is the root of all evil, but there's another part in scripture that says money answereth all things. Okay. So if you understand, I'm just eisegetically touching it, which means my Holy Ghost imagination. If you just take that, it's like, you don't just say, oh, money is evil. When you go pay for your food, they looking for money. Okay. Because that answers how you going to get your food and walk out. So money got its significance. So yeah, you do want to make sure, like, yo, what am I getting paid for this with? But those are the times when you understand. Don't walk up in there like, I'm a Grammy Award winner band. Well, when iTunes and stuff came out, everybody started giving out less money. And all the bougie, and you had a whole bunch of hungry young boys that was like, just give me a sandwich. And now they got the record on Beyonce. Let's hear if you all about the success, you might get the success and not get the money.
And there's also one thing that is called, personal satisfaction.
Talking,
right?
It done. Is it doing it again?
It's doing it again. Looks like the audio is.
Okay, good. Good. Commercial break. I'm sign off. Come back.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. So go ahead and do that, folks. I'm going to go ahead and put a commercial break real quick while he's signing up for coming back, and we'll be right back with you. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us. I'll be right back. All right, he's back in the building. Hey, that is what happens whenever you're doing live. Sometimes, technology is just going to be working against you. The question is exactly what we're talking about. How do you handle the times of adversity? How are you handling it, right? So, and practice, right? Good practice makes perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. Because, hey, if you're doing it right, if you're practicing right over and over and over again, you will be perfect at what you do. Now, this is clear path to the next question, Keith. And actually, Charles Jackson just asked that question. What caused the pivot from producer to pastor?
Ooh, timing. My father passed away in 2008. He was pretty healthy. He had the stroke. Bunch of mini strokes led to a big stroke, and I accepted my calling to preach in 2005, the same year we got the Grammy. And I was already preaching because it was kind of already in me. There's like a baseline in everybody that it's almost like if I had to coach people with doing lives and I had to dissect their character, I'm gonna dig back to see who they were before they got the camera, before they got Ecamm, before they got the computer and stuff, and build from there. Because some people, they try to be something that they haven't been at a certain time. So for me, I was always kind of like the coachy person, or the extra person to dig in a little bit more. So I was the choir director. I was the MD of the band. So when everybody just came in to get their $50 for playing the drums, the $100 for playing the second keyboard, whatever, I'm like, yo, I want to make sure these chords work and make sure that the Leslie is oiled. You know what I'm saying? Make
Right,
sure
right.
that the microphone is going to work when the praise team grab the mic. Make sure when the pastor, when he want to run off the pulpit and go, won't he do it? I want to make sure the cord long enough. We'll make sure the batteries is in there. I'm that type of person. So when my father passed, it kind of stepped me ahead of a lot of people that they would have been considering outside of just the family lineage or whatever. And so I was still at the height of producing. So it kind of all worked together because, and this is for Dwayne or whoever else is in the music, the studio was basically like choir rehearsal. That's what made me the producer I was, and vice versa. It literally was. Because, and here, listen, I'm gonna give this is an exclusive on JP Hightek. This is an exclusive from Keith Pelzer. A lot of young people are like, oh, what is it? How is it being a producer? And I'm like, especially when I talk to church cats, I'm like, it really is just choir rehearsal. Like they were like, what do you mean? When you doing parts, right? When you doing parts and you teaching the parts, you give a high note, you do the alto note, you double that, triple it, quadruple it, whatever they do now, and then you say get a high note, get a low note. Well, I would sing those notes to it. It's kind of like ooh, ooh, ooh. And I would just do those things. Listen, on Cross My Mind, I sang the original intro where it's like ooh, ooh. I went in the booth. Jill made me go in the booth and sing the notes. And so, I actually sang on that record. It's not on the final because I didn't want my voice on there. I took it out, but I'm on one of Music Soul Child's records. Yeah, I did the background on one of Music Soul Child. I did 143 with music, and so I'm singing on that. So I basically was just going to the studio doing church stuff. So it wasn't much to pivot from, and then the teaching of it. I was the guy that before everybody started smoking weed in the room, it's kind of like, listen, if y'all too high, we're not going to get the song done. So you got to be the voice of reason. So my wife's company is called Faces and Voices of Reason. So I had favor with me, and to be a face and voice of reason, I was the talker to kind of keep everything focused so that, when the record company came back, the record got done. You know what I'm saying? So that was basically the secret there. That's all.
Nice, right? I love the part where you said, hey, if you get too high, we're not gonna be able to get the job done, right? I like that. And I've always been that type of guy too.
I ain't judging everybody. I'm just saying I need you sober until we get to this part. Then you can go do what you want to do. You know what I mean? Do your thing.
Don't mess with the production now. This is money right here.
It's money right here, bro.
I like that. Now, obviously, we're at the end, but before we let you go, there's one question I had to ask. We got to look into it. It's going to take us a little additional 5 minutes, and I know that the folks in the comment section are good with it, and I appreciate you being good with us, Keith, as well. Let me ask you. Now you're using Ecamm, right? Now you're doing video production, live streaming. Why are you doing it? Like, this is a pivot from that as well. Why are you
Yeah.
doing it, and what brought you into this sphere?
I was able to bring my emotions out in a place that I'm comfortable in. I'm not uncomfortable being in front of the camera. I'm a silly guy. So it's I was watching Anna and Fulgens, and they were on with Alec, I think his name is. And the funny thing is, he or Arel, I forgot his name. Okay, I gotta get his name. I friended him on Instagram, but I'm comfortable being in front of the camera. And I know I'm a pastor, but as a pastor, I have a congregation. My congregation comes to hear me. And I'm gonna teach them the word of God. But there's also another congregation, and everybody has a congregation. This is something that most people don't really think about. Everybody watching me right now has a congregation. What's that? That's called your circle of influence. So when you take your circle of influence, knowing who you are, there's something in you that you have been gifted with to bless everybody else with. And what that also is what everybody else is not exactly doing. So the common thing is, okay, everybody pushes a button and go live. And then everybody's got a show. Then everybody's like, oh, look at my layovers and stuff. But then what I had to learn through this pandemic is a lot of the people that I talk to, they're like, yo, I miss the conversations. And I was so busy trying to do a show, and I had to realize I'm not Hightek. I'm not Charles. I'm not Killy. I'm not Doc. I'm not Diana. And all of those people I name and many more are great. And that's unique to them. The problem with me was I almost got off track, forgetting, dude, I just pushed the button and go live. And that's what people liked. And so that right there is one of those things where, I needed this. And so shout out to Ecamm. They didn't pay me to do this. I'm just saying it. The Ecamm system, and Irvin Fryer says it best with his acronym about Ecamm, it allows you to express yourself. And so think about people that, everybody should be able to write a book. Because when you put the book out there, whether you want to write a book or not, people are going to read it. People want to know our story of how'd you guys break up from the Philly soul movement, and why'd y'all break up and y'all not together no more? What happened with Jill? What happened with music? What happened with Jazzy Jeff? What happened with Will? Everybody wants to know. People try to pay us to get the story. Everybody wants a story. People will read your story. And so I'm like this. I don't feel like a book right now, but this stuff is documented. Like, it stays online until you pull it down. So I use platforms like this to get out all the stuff that's in me that's not necessarily religious all the time. Because everybody's not Christian. Everybody's not Muslim. Everybody's not this. Everybody's not that. Everybody's not atheist. So what is common while we're in this world together? And once again, shout out to the late the late Jake Galvin, I think his last name is. I'm gonna miss Jake. Just got to know him, but I posted an Ecamm, like, it was significant to me just sharing this platform with Jake. So I say that to everybody. So we got to cherish these moments, cherish these times, and really express ourselves. I think it's really gonna be a blessing, though.
It is absolutely. It will be a blessing. And yeah, again, shout out to Jake. May his soul rest in peace.
Yeah.
Great guy, and it's hurting the entire community right now that we lost him. If you don't know, just hop into the Ecamm community, go check out, and leave him a nice word or anything for his family to see. That's what it's all about. Family, building community, networking. That's what we're all about as people. And you're right, man. Not everybody's in the faith-based, industry or anything like that. But one thing that we are using universally is technology. Technology is everywhere. It's the common denominator of literally everything we're doing now. It's been here for the past 50 years. The difference today is that we're more dependent on the technology now more than ever. That's the only difference, right? And now that we're dependent on it so much more than ever, we need to have a better understanding of the technology we're using, because there's so many aspects of technology, but not every single technology is made for you or what
Hmm.
you're doing. So the
Hmm.
question is, what are you doing? How are you going to, use the power of the technology available to make that a success? The technology needs to be a complement to your story, not
Yeah.
become this story you're telling. And that's what
Hmm.
my takeaway is from what you just shared. That's powerful. Now, of course, talking about technology, show us your behind the scenes. What do you have there look making you look so dope, brother?
Oh my goodness. There's the. Oh, okay, you got to ask me what it is like to start with. I mean,
Yeah.
the,
So, what
the camera
camera?
that I'm on now.
Yes.
So the camera that I'm on now is the A7C. Um, I, I'm not even going to get started on that. This is the A7C, which is a full frame camera. You got to talk to Dot Rock to give you the ins and outs of why full frame is different from an APS-C.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm using a confidence monitor here. I call it. It's just a Lilliput. Shout out to Alec. He has one of these too. The Desview Jermaine is on these two. And the one that I don't use much is this guy up here. And that's the popular. Let me see if I can. Oh, the light's hiding it. But up here, that's the old popular TMP that most people use. I have it sitting off to the side to get maybe like a view like this when I do my own show. I normally do
Mm-hmm.
it like this, or on Sundays, I like to pull from this angle here. But when I'm on other people's platform, I just like to use this guy right in front of me.
Which is
And
nice. And now, looking at your screen, you have nice screens up there stacked. You have is that a TV on top, and then a
yes,
monitor, 4K monitor that you have?
yeah, TV, just a 40-inch across 38 technically monitor there. Um, and then that's my old trusty over there. I'm like Alicio, gotta have that iMac, over the side.
Right.
That's the stand-up setup over there.
Okay. So you have a mobile setup, and then you have a fixed setup, boy, what you're on right now.
Yeah, and look at this. And then there's the keyboard. No, this is crazy, bro. There's the keyboard that I have not touched in over a year. Okay. That's my
Oh my
keyboard. It
God.
literally sits underneath here. I haven't touched this in almost over a year. I've had artists come in and play, but me myself, I actually haven't done anything on it except for the intro for my own broadcast. That's the
And
only
you
thing I
said
put together.
awesome. Thanks for that. Just for the beat makers in the place in the comment section, what do you use, right, primarily to produce your instrumental when it comes down to hardware? Is it that keyboard, or you rather do it
Yes.
digitally?
No, it's this keyboard, and that's Native Instruments, and I run it into I'm not ECAM, Logic. I run it in Logic, and so I just do everything out of Logic with Native Instruments. A couple of other well-known plugins I use to put it all together. I don't use Pro Tools anymore. I use Pro Tools throughout my whole career. Tape machines and hard disk recorders, and now everything's just straight Logic and right through this
Mm-hmm.
keyboard, and I'm good to go. So whenever I have to pick back up and start up again, I do it right from two pieces. That's the crazy thing, two pieces. Or the Apollo Twin has a lot of the stuff in there, hardware that I use. That's why I have this mic and stuff. If not, I would technically just use the SM7B over there
Mm-hmm.
and the Rodecaster Pro. That's all I really need. So this extra stuff I have on here is because of the music production. That's what that's for.
Nice, nice. Well, Keith, I want to go ahead and thank you for your time and dropping all this knowledge and also sharing your story with us, right? We really appreciate that. We've learned a lot from you and we've taken notes, all right? Before we let you go, for the folks that want to connect with you, maybe on social media or outside of this show, how can they do so?
You can hit me on Facebook at the Convos with a K, or the Convos on YouTube. And so everything from there. In there, I do a little piece called the No Pro, the KNOW. I call myself the No Pro, where we just raw talk about things we unbox without being super deep. I will be on this stuff. I'm starting to get back into doing more uploads and stuff now because I'm pretty much past the mental funk space, and
Mm-hmm.
so I done found my spot, and I'm feeling better now. The Killy put role play on there. That's my song, man. That's my nephew. He has a song. He plays for I don't even know who he's playing for now, but he's played for everybody. Nicki Minaj, different major artists and stuff. Some of the old school artists from my day and new people and all. But that's his song Role Play that I put
I've
on.
seen you sing that. I saw your video where you were dancing and singing, role play. I was like, well,
Hey, I got to do another one. I got to put on a Hightek T-shirt or something.
there we
Shout out
go,
to
man.
Press and So, man. Listen, Press and So. It's because of them. It's because Sylvia and Andrew, they sent me a nice package, man. I was like, what am I gonna do with all these T-shirts? And I was just like, let me have fun with the camera, just switch them up and just do a video and try to shoot one. So shout out to
Right.
those folks, man. They were peoples, man.
It was dope. It was dope, man. I mean, Sylvia, Preston Soul, they're amazing. They're powering a lot of, merch in the community. We want to thank them for that. Again, it's all about giving people praise while they can hear it and enjoy it. And that's what we're all about here. Keith, I want to go ahead and thank you one more time. Stay behind stage as I go ahead and close this show. I'll be right with you. All right, folks, this is it. This is the end of the Content Creators University. It was really, really fun to be here and connect with you guys live in the comment section, and also having, Keith sharing his story with us. I want you to let me know in the comment section what is the one thing you appreciated and learned from this. And if you like this type of videos, go ahead and smack the like button right here on YouTube. If you're listening to the podcast, hop on YouTube, youtube.com/JP Hightek Reviews is the channel. And let's continue this conversation. We'll be back next week, next Wednesday. All right. We'll be back here for another show with Steve Worthy. Very, very amazing conversations. Thanks again, guys. And I'll see you next time for another video. You be safe, like I always say. Shalom. Bye-bye, guys.